I made $70,000 in the last financial year selling access to workshops and some of my time, and I want to tell you why I think more people could be doing this. Now, if I go back a few steps to start with, we put out a lot of free information, a lot of free education to help business owners get better at business and to help them achieve more with their own business and get closer to their goals. Now, the problem with doing this is that eventually people some people will reach out and they'll want your help and they'll work one-on-one with you. But what ends up happening is you kind of attract a whole heap of people that won't actually end up using the information nor taking it seriously. So we started to move to a little bit of a pay-as-you-go type model, or pay to get a bit more access model. So we started testing running some paid workshops around different topics to do with business. Now, again, like, this isn't just for business owners, so please hang with me, but I want to just give you the context of how I come to think about this. So business planning, cash flow planning, and different topics to help people learn. And the idea was that it would weed out the people who won't take it seriously and won't take the action, because we know that the information is really valuable, and if people take action, then they'll be happy and their business will improve and they'll actually be, like a potential customer for us in the future. And if we say, hey, here's a free workshop or webinar, you just attract all these people. They ask questions. They're like, oh, can I get the replay? Oh, hey, what about this and stuff? And they don't actually do anything with the information, and you kind of just go around in circles. So that said, then what I started playing with was, okay, well, people are going to get bored of myself, my business partner. Why don't we introduce some guests as well around different things that business owners would be struggling with based on what we're seeing people struggling with. So we did the same thing. We launched tickets and people pay for them. And basically, again, you weed out the people who go, oh, I'm not paying for that. Now, a lot of people would argue, well, you could just find this information online, and that's fair enough. So, but the beauty with business is that the market decides. So they decide whether they're going to pay and whether they're going to come. And after all of the workshops, I say, if you want your $100 back, go for it. Just say that we wasted your time, you didn't learn anything. And we've probably done one refund, and it was actually based off of swearing rather than it not being valuable. So why do I tell you this? Now, for me, it's even sort of blowing my paradigm, because for years I would do like free content, and we still do a lot of free content, but to move to the paid model for a select certain amount of people, it really encouraged me to put more into it as well and make sure that people were getting results. Now, the part of what I also think is happening is that because there's so much free content, things go in cycles. Now, we've got AI and we've got so much free content that eventually people are going to go, you know what, I want to pay and I want to make sure that this information is actually valuable and relevant. And how do I do it? Like, okay, you've given me the what and told me some theory and principles, but like, what do I tactically need to go away to do? And so we teach some of the how as part of that as well. Now, when I talk about in a video months ago at the start of the year, I say, use your skills to generate extra income. This is what I mean. For me, I'm not a tradie. I can't go knock on a door and say, hey, do you want me to fix your washing machine? Do you want me to clean your deck? Your deck's covered in mold. That's not a good use of my time. I'm not good at it, so it's not something that I want to do. But I'm trying to also show you that I'm practicing this shit that I see working, and hopefully inspiring some people to go and have a crack, because I think a lot of us, we don't understand the opportunity that's actually out there. Now, to go back to me a few years ago, paradigm change, it's like, oh, well, are people actually going to come? Will they ask for their money back? What if they do? All this shit. And it's like, well, just try it. So we try it, and it's working really well, and it's really, really enjoyable as well. We're building up a good, network of different people who are showing up to these things. But basically, $70,000 in a financial year, that's the median income for a Kiwi. So all of a sudden, I've gone like years into my business journey now, but at some stage I probably would have found it really, really hard to believe that you could make $70,000 online selling tickets to workshops and access to have conversations. But the beauty with the market, like I said before, is you get to test it and you get to find out what it wants. Now, in this back bit of the video, what I want to encourage you to do is not be like, okay, good for you, that's exciting, I could never do that, that's bullshit. Take my thesis. So my thesis is that because there's been so much free information and ChatGPT and AI and shit's only going to rev that up, that people, they still end up having like a trust disconnect where they're like, fuck, I just want to hear from somebody who's done it. So again, like if you're really good at something, or if you have done something, you're more valuable than you realize. You're valuable because you can actually reteach people how to do things well. Now, when I was in America at a conference, I heard about a guy who was paying for his kids to have football training with Lionel Messi's coach, and it was ridiculous amount of money. Now, why can that person charge a ridiculous amount of money? Well, they're good at what they do, then they have the validation from the market, and they also have the experience, and so then there's trust, and so people go, well, I want to get the results faster, so I'm going to pay to get those. So I want some of you that you may think, okay, this could apply to me, especially if you're maybe in business, or if you've got a really good skill that other people want. Have a think about how you could deploy this skill into the market. Now, it could be through running a workshop. It could be by starting a school group, as an example, SKOOL. But a lot of New Zealanders and the world in general at the moment have been tarred by this kind of online course type bullshit. So then people go like, oh, I'm going to stay away from that. But if you have a really good skill that you could teach someone, like what's the difference between holding a class in person and teaching people Pilates or how to do the splits versus actually doing it online and then opening up your ability to do it across the entire country without needing a rent space and being able to do it on Zoom? When the pandemic happened, I had to have physio calls on Zoom. Like they had to move to it. So I think for like a lot of us, when we look at how hard the economy is and how the world is and things, we then turn our mind off to what our opportunities could be. But there is just so much that can be done and that we can now be doing with modern technology. And it's really hard for a lot of us to actually see that it could be us that is doing it. And even I, was like, oh, is this going to work? But if it doesn't work, well, it just doesn't work. So for whoever you are out there and whatever it is that you may be good at, have a think about whether you could sell that experience or information to somebody else. A very quick stack that I used for these workshops is basically like a Stripe payment gateway. Now you can I think anyone can set up a Stripe payment gateway. I had an audience to start with. Some people are going to start there like, I don't have an audience. I'm not here to solve all your problems. You just this isn't for you if you don't want to solve your problems. This is for people who actually do want to solve them. So, but anybody effectively has an audience. After saying that, here's how to solve that. You go to a Facebook group, for instance, and say, hey, we're running this, and maybe even say to the Facebook group owner, hey, can I pay you XYZ if I sign people up? But it's all too hard basket for most people. But if you've got an audience, or if you've got your own Facebook profile or different Instagram account and these sorts of things, maybe try and do a few of them and see if you can sell like a little bit and get good at it, and then maybe you can scale it from there. But audience plus a payment gateway like Stripe, people can sign up. You then have a Zoom link that they're going to come to, and you host the event on Zoom at the time, send them a reminder, and go live with them and just absolutely send it and actually teach them valuable shit. And hey, it might be really scary, but have a think about what questions they might have ahead of it so you can be prepared, but even ask them what those questions are and actually teach them or show them something that's going to benefit them in their life. It could be nutrition, it could be marketing, it could be how to play the piano. People are craving access, they're craving experience, they're craving access to smart people, and they want to know that shit works. It's just like when we take a car to a mechanic that says, yes, I can fix that. You kind of go, well, great, cool, can you do that? You don't sort of question, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll go to 8 different ones. When we're at that pain point, we're looking for, okay, who can give me this? You could still Google how to fix my car, it's got this issue, but what if you misdiagnose it? So that's why I think people who are experienced and have experience and knowledge, they're going to become the people who are really, really valuable in society, and other people are going to be willing to pay them for what it is that they know. So if you've got any questions, drop them below. I can try and answer them. I hope that it's got you thinking. It's really opened my eyes to what's possible. I've seen what people are doing around the world, and my 70 grand is a drop in the bucket compared to what some people are up there. But again, that should blow a lot of people's paradigms that's possible. $70,000 worth of income in a 12-month period, which is the median income in New Zealand. And that is an idea that I had, or role modeled what some other people are doing, and thinking, okay, how can we do this a little bit differently, going from free to paid? And of course, other things drop out the bottom of it too, because normally in business, when people become a customer, then they may become more likely to then want to transact with you in the future as well. So yeah, You've obviously got to put a lot of offers out to the market and make sure it is valuable, but let me know if you want me to break any of that down even further. But the key messages here are that this is possible, this is happening all around the world, and a lot of us are a lot more valuable than we realize. But as Kiwi people, I think a lot of people struggle to see their value because and also like we worry that Kiwis won't pay for stuff because we have that DIY nature of like, I'll do it myself. But trust me, there are a lot of Kiwi people out there that are willing to learn and are sick of free podcasts, they're sick of chat GPT shit, they're sick of free blog posts, they're sick of all the free stuff and point me in the right direction, and they're looking for people that are good at what they do and that are experienced, and they're saying, hey, yeah, I'll pay to come along and teach me and show me what I need to do, and I'll get started.